Happy Easter, everybody. How are you? This is Laura from Laura's Designs right here on Easter Sunday. Happy Easter egg to all of you. It's time to share another mystery. So I want to tell you that I saw this layout from a friend of mine, Miss Connie, and I thought it would make such a fun card. So we're going to give it a go tonight. I'm going to use my Wooley Friends stamp and a punch bundle. And I have all the bits here so I can show them to you. I have a card base. I know, can you believe it? A card base. It is 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it, I have to turn it so I can see it, at 4 1/4 and 5 1/2, and we are gonna burnish that, once I can find a bone folder, on both of those. So in half would be at 5 1/2, and then we're gonna fold it back and burnish at 4 1/4. This particular fold, I call it a book fold. I do. Now, the 5 1/2, I'm not going to worry about. The 4 1/4, I'm going to erase it because I don't want anybody to see that I can't remember measurements. So there we have it. That is our first step in this card, is burnishing our fold, making it nice and flat. There we go. 4 1/4 by 11. We scored it at 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. Now, this book fold is going to get folded. Yep, I know I make lots of noise. We're going to fold it right down. So I am going to just put a little bit of liquid adhesive, maybe. There we go. I don't want to squeeze it because I don't want too much, but I'm going to put some liquid adhesive right down there. And I'm doing this before I show you all of the bits because I want this to be good and dry. So there we have our book fold. Yep, our book fold. So I hope you've had a fabulous Easter so far. I sure have. I had some of my kids here. There we go. This is our one and only piece of designer series paper. It's a 6 by 6. This card has a lot of squares on it tonight, and I want to let you know that. So this is a 6 by 6. I have scored it at 3 inches on the vertical and 3 inches on the horizontal. Now we're going to give this a little fold. Yep, I'm going to give it a little fold. This is going to be the inside of our card, so we're going to fold it both ways. And I know this color looks kind of crazy, but trust me, it's going to be gorgeous. Trust me on that. We have 1, 2, and we're going to turn this into an explosion card. So now we have those great folds on our card. I want to bring in my paper trimmer, and on this 3-inch side, the vertical 3-inch side, I want to cut up from the bottom to that 3-inch pass, just like that. Just like that. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have our edge. So this is going to lay inside of our card, and 3 is going to lay on 1, 3 on 1, 3 on 2. There we go. And then 2 on 4. This is going to lay inside of our card when we're ready for it. Let's do that now. We have a piece of 4 by 4. Pool party, sorry, I lost my mind there for a minute. Pool party cardstock. We're going to lay this in here first. Let me grab some seal. This is going to fit inside of our card. Remember, that's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Our standard card base. We're doing lots of squares. We're going to pop this right down. Make it nice and straight and even. Our adhesive should be nice and firm now. Yeah, that's not going to come apart. So now let's pop our pretty explosion-y part right on there. Can you believe it? I want to make sure I got it the right way. I do. We're going to center this right in here. This is going to be a great card for somebody. Check us out here. There it is. We're going to explode right out of there. Let's set that to the side right now. Let's work on the front of our card. You want to see all of our bits for there? We have a piece of Pretty in Pink that is 3/4 by 3/4. Yes, I have my notes. We have a piece of Basic White that is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. We have another bit of Pool Party that is 3/4 by 3/4. We have two that are 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So these are nice and square. And the last bit, well, it's not the last bit. We have two that are 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. Lots of pieces on this. And a bit that is 1 by 4 inches. Let's do some, yeah, you know, embossing on here. Let's do that. Let's do that. I want to emboss, dry emboss. Let's do some embossing. Now, you can see that I have used some bits and I've attached them together. You can use your bits, it's fine. I'm gonna lay this right on my card front. Nobody's gonna know that we have already, that I've put those together. I just want this layer on here, on my card, bringing all of the colors everywhere. So we're just gonna lay it right on our card front, just like that. Boop, boop. There we go. Now we have our piece of Pretty in Pink. We're just gonna trim this down just a little bit. It's 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. I want to make this, what do I want to make this? I want to make this 3 5/8. So one little tick over from our 3/4 mark. I'm going to make it 3 5/8. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to go 3 5/8 again. Just making it a little tiny bit smaller. And I think I'm going to change my bit that we are using on our card to Pretty in Pink. And I'm going to make this 1 inch. Yep. And by 4 inches. And this is what we're going to emboss. I know you can hear all those noises behind us. That's just firefighters coming and going, and you know, all of those things happen. I want to grab a dry embossing folder right now, and I think we're going to use all in a row. While we're doing that, I have to grab the embossing machine. Stick with me, girls. Stick with me. Here we go. It is a large embossing folder, so it's going to take my large machine to make that happen. Let's pull this in, and we want to emboss both of these bits. Oh, yep, I got all kind. Wait till you see how many stamps we have over here. It's kind of crazy. I'm going to put my bits in here, and I'm going to do both of these pieces at the same time. And you ask me why? Well, because that's the way we rock and roll around here. And we can trim things up if we need to. So here we go. We got 2 embossing. Let's grab my handle, pop that right through. Woo! We did it. That was like crazy, crazy good. Now we have some sweet embossing done. Well, let's add this to our card, and then we'll do some stamping. Oh, girls. Now I've lost my seal. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, found it. I want to tell you, and as a reminder, when you are embossing and then adhering that piece down, which means gluing it, make sure you get plenty of adhesive because there's less surface area that will naturally be covered. So we want to make sure we get plenty on here. Now I wanted just that little skosh of our pool party to show through. And this piece is gonna go right here. And I'm gonna trim this with my scissors about right there. Let's see how we did. I'm gonna trim it on both sides. Yep, just gonna trim it a skosh, a skosh, because I want it to line up nice and straight. Now I want to use a ribbon on this before I put it down. So I'm gonna put a little adhesive on the back because I want ribbon on here. You know, you always want the things. And I love the seam binding. I just love it. Just love it. So I'm gonna pop one end down. Remember, this is our cheat. This is our cheat. I love this cheat. Come right around. We're gonna trim it right off, making sure it's straight, and come right back up the inside. There we go. We got it. A little bit more adhesive on here so that we can lay it right down on our book binding. Ready? Here it is. Book binding, book binding. We need to go the other way. I was looking at my dots. Is that what we need? Nope, we got to go back this way. I was right the first time. I was holding it correctly. Sometimes, yeah, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee with me. Now, can you tell that we joined together 3 pieces of pool party? I can't tell. So don't be afraid to use your scraps. I want you to see that. Don't be afraid to use your scraps. We're going to come back here and we are going to add our ribbon. We're going to make a bow on here, but we're going to give it a minute. Let's do some stamping. You want to? We're going to stamp on here. We're going to stamp on here. Look at all these stamps I've got. Don't be afraid to use your stamps either. Whew. And I have to have one more block because I don't have a block for the head. But that's okay. Look at we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This will be 10. 10 stamps. 10. Yep, 10. Let's get stamping. You want to? And I can't wait. So let's start with we're going to start from the top down, and we're going to use, I was going to use Pretty in Pink. Let's use Pretty in Pink. Pretty in Pink. On the top of the front of our card, we're going to stamp, "You are simply fabulous." One of my favorites. I love this stamp set. It's cheery and fun. This would be a great card for anybody. So let's stamp. You are fabulous. Inked it right up. We're going to pop right on here and see where we're at. You are fabulous. Okay, I'm going to close up my ink as I'm using them because we're going to use a lot of stamps and I don't want to make a mess. How about a little smoky slate? Smoky slate and some sheep bodies. Sheep bodies, smoky slate. Let's put one kind of at an angle. Yeah, kind of at an angle there. Now that's not a sheep bum, I promise. And let's put another one more standing up. Okay, there's some sheep bodies. We have, what else do we want to do in smoky slate? Let me think. Oh, maybe the bell. We're going to put a bell on our sheep and we're going to pop it right here. There's our bell. Let's put another bell over here. Smoky slate bells. Kind of leaning sideways. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, how about a butterfly? Let's put a butterfly on there. A butterfly. Butterfly, butterfly, butterfly. Do-do-do-do. Butterfly, butterfly. Okay. We've got a bell. We've got 2 bells, 2 sheep bodies, a butterfly. We'll put a butterfly on the inside of our card too. But we're going to grab some scraps, which I know I have. I have scraps of paper everywhere. Look, here's one right here. Let's stamp. Before we do that, let's stamp some sheep heads. Yeah. Sheep heads, again in smoky slate, and on our stamp, on our punch, there's the sheep head. We're gonna, the lamb head, sheep head, I don't know what you call it. Whatever you call it, we're gonna stamp one of those. We're gonna stamp and punch 2 of them. So let's do one right here. And let's give him a little pink. Little pink on the cheeks. Why not? I like pink cheeks. There we go. Whew, just knock things over. And let's punch this one out. Put it right in our, I think it's a 1-inch scrap of paper that I've got. 1 by 11 probably. Okay. And let's clean that up. Let's do another one. If you were my sheep head, where would you be? They kind of look like embarrassed sheep. You know, they've got that quiet, peaceful grin on their face. They're embarrassing. I don't know what you call them. I feel like I know a joke about embarrassing something, or that's, my grandchildren teach me these things and I can't remember them. Okay, we need some more cheeks. We need some more cheeks. Gonna give them a little cheeky there and a little cheeky there. I just adding a little color to it. Before we move off, we're gonna punch this. If you could only see my desk, girls, it is truly a mess around here today. I got stuff everywhere. My new order came, and I'm going to be sharing that with you from the kind of some sneak peeks from the new catalog that's coming out the beginning of May. Can't wait to show you those. There's our little cheekies. Now, let's do our bell. Before we move on, let's do our bell. Now, it's a little tiny bell. We could color this with blends. And in fact, I got some blends out, but I thought, well, what the heck? I said, what the heck? We got some bell on there and some bell on there. We'll cover that right up. Don't you worry. Never fear. Now, we can't have our sheep floating around in the air. They're not airing sheep. So we have this little tiny grass. And we're just going to put our sheep on some grass. This guy's going to get lots of grass. Right up under him. Look at that. We're going to come right over here, right off the edge, so we can tuck him right into the grass. How about that? This is a little granny apple green grass. You can add as much or as little as you want. We're just adding some. Why not? Why not? We can do that. Okay. Then we need, you know what we need? We're going to need some dimensionals. Dimensionals. We haven't used any of those yet on our card. And let's put some dimensional on, and let's get some sheep heads on here. They're kind of leaning. They're kind of leaning. Look at that. I think they're kind of cute. And of course, we got a little butterfly. Butterfly needs a little color. Ooh, I have a little fresh freesia. We'll put some fresh freesia on there. Oh, you know what we can do? I just had a thought, girls. Guess what we can do? Guess what we can do? Where's our little butterfly? I'm inking the butterfly up again. Check us out. That butterfly's coming right up out of the ground. Ho, ho, ho. And since, you know, he's a little butterfly, let's put another one over here. Ho, ho, ho. Look at that. We didn't have to do anything but add an extra stamp on there. Butterflies. Butterflies. There we go. Butterflies. And we're going to just give him a little color, more color. You know, I dropped that right on there on purpose, just so we would have a plan for what to do with it. I know. You may not believe me, but I did. It was the plan the whole time. Let's pop our little bits on here. And look how we've brought all of those colors right into the front of our card. There we go. Now let's work on our explosion on the inside. We're going to, right down here on the bottom, we're just going to put a couple of these layers on. This is the 2.5 by 2.5 on the 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. This is just simply going to be where we can write a little message. Sweet little note to somebody. Giving it some ink on. And we're just going to lay it right on there. We have one more piece we're going to pop right up here. I want to put some more on here. I want to start with a sentiment that says, sending flowers and sunshine. That's what we're going to say, because then we're going to put some flowers and sunshine on our card. You can add more to this card if you'd like on your other spots, but I really like these colors. I wanted to have a little bit of time and space for everything to just work out for itself. Let's add a little more grass. We got a little bit of grass. We're going to add our grass before we add our flowers. Pop it right down here. Sending flowers and sunshine. There's some grass. Now we have flowers. We're going to do our flowers right in our Granny Apple Green. It won't hurt us any, and it won't color the inside of our flowers. We're going to do that ourselves. We're going to do that with this sweet little inside of our flower stamp. I'm closing and moving ink out of the way because y'all know that I will make a mess with it, right? You know that. Okay, we're going to use some fresh freesia because those are some of the colors we're using. And we are going to stamp our flowers right on there. I had to pull it down so I could see. There we have it. And of course, you know what we haven't used yet? We haven't used any Wink of Stella, but our flowers need a little, they need a little zhuzhin. And then of course, we're gonna add a little light. What color is this? This is light Granny Apple Green. And we're gonna color in our flower bits, our leaves. I love how the leaves, I love that. Ugh. Now, before we go away with our Wink of Stella, I'm just gonna pop a little Wink of Stella glitter on here. Just giving it a little glitz and shine. We got it. I have notes and pieces of paper everywhere around here. There is stuff everywhere on my desk. Messy, messy, messy. That's me. Messy, messy, messy. I have a little, yeah, I have a little edge on it. I'm just using my fingernail to get it off. We got one more. And then the last thing we're going to do is tie our bow. We're going to put this right up here on this corner. And then right here on the front, I want to do one more. Are you okay if we do one more sheep? One more? Here we go. I want to put a sheep body right down here. Sheep body. He just is so cute to me. I can't resist. I'm sorry. I just can't resist the sheep. He's a little sheep. And, oh, well, he probably needs some grass because he can't be standing on air. And I'm not going to give this one a head. You know what we're going to give him? I just had an idea. We're going to pretend it's a sheep bum. How do you feel about a sheep bum? But look, we got this cute little bow. Let's put the bow on there. Like it's a sheep bum bow. Get it? Sheep bum bow? Oh, sometimes I crack myself up. Let's Let's get our little sheep bumbo. And what color should we do it in? Want to do it in pretty in pink? Let's do that. Now this is the outline. Giving him some love here. We're going to give our little sheep some love. We're going to put it right there. Yep, that's our sheep. He's backwards. How cute is he? And of course, he needs a little wink Stella. There he is. Okay, we got all that bit done. Now we need to add our bow. I'm going to take some more of our, this is like, it's like seam binding to me. That's not what it's called. It is called, oh yeah, it is called seam binding ribbon. But it's that fresh freesia color. And I remember when I was younger and my mom used to sew, she would use seam binding a lot. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut this off of my bolt here. We're gonna tie it around. I'm gonna turn it around. Now I want my ribbon to go this way, so I'm gonna tie it this way. I know, some days I just can't get it together. We're a little over our 30 minutes, but that's because I was talking, and we're just gonna pull this tight. Let's reach up and make a bow. One loop. Puppy ears. Puppy ears. Anybody remember learning to tie their shoes like this? And you know, I can't tie my shoe. This is how I learned, and I can't tie my shoes any other way. Some people do the 2 loops. I can't do it anymore. Okay, there it is. Got it, got it. Pull it through, pull it tight. So let's give it a little floof out. Whoop, whoop. I don't want it quite that big, but there's our bow. Now let's trim the ends of our bow right down to make it beautiful. Here we have it, ladies. You're simply fabulous. Look at that. Or you can write a little sentiment. You could even stamp in here if you wanted. So many things, but such a simple, fast, easy card when you're not talking all the time. Thanks for hanging out, for doing mystery stamping with me tonight. I love you lots, ladies, and I'll see you Wednesday, and we'll do a little sneak peek on Wednesday night of what's in the box. Mwah. Bye.